Hello and welcome to SirSmuggler's Let's Play, episode 22 of season 2. And yet another episode where my microphone was muted when I recorded this. So yeah, I really need to figure out why that keeps happening. It's absolutely annoying and frustrating. So, well, anyway, I'll try my best to figure out what I was doing here. Oh, and here comes the rain. Awesome. Anyway, I was talking about the oil that I found and that I wanted to transport it by rail back to base. And well, I wanted to build the rail with the builder and architect table and stuff like that, making a blueprint and just marking out the path and have the builder build the entire thing, because it's quite a distance from my base back to the oil well. And to do that I wanted to use this redstone energy cell that can actually store Buildcraft energy, and it retains its charge even if you break the blocks. It can transport the energy. So my plan was to get this thing going and charged up at my base where I have my engines, and then take it out to where I want to set up the builder and get the railer going. So this episode will mostly be about getting this redstone energy cell going. And let's just sleep away the night and the rain. And to make this redstone energy cell I needed a few of those invar ingots. You might have seen it in the recipe real quick there. And to make those I need to grind up some ingots into dust, because you need either dusts or an induction furnace to create this invar. So you use iron and ferrous dusts and you get the invar blend that you can melt into invar ingots. And yeah, I actually think my plan here was to build an induction furnace, because that will be useful later on as well. So let's just get this invar melted into ingots, and let's see what else we need to construct this furnace, the induction furnace. So we have the machine frame and this coil thingy. So, and I prepared the most of it, but it seems I forgot some things like redstone. You always forget something. That's like whatever I'm gonna craft. I think I prepare and have everything ready, but there's always something I've forgotten. Anyway, machine frame, not a problem. And the coil, gold and redstone. And my ingots should be ready by now. So there they are. And we should have an induction furnace real soon here. So this induction furnace is from Thermal Expansion, and it's well, it's a furnace, but it is a bit special. It uses sand to melt ores, and you can actually, well, you get the ore and then you get some kind of slag when you do that. And if you use that slag instead of sand, you can actually get triple the amount of ingots back from your ore melting. So it's a bit tricky to work with that way, but if you really want to, you can get some extra resources. And I always seems to get stuck in these holes when I do things, and there I'm out again. So induction furnace planted down. And let's open it up. So you see we got two input slots. So one is for the ores or dusts, and the other is for sand or slag. So I'm just going to turn all the outputs off here, and I'll run this one manually, at least for now. So what did I want this furnace for? Well, you can see, well, as it is, I grind all my ores down to dust and then immediately smelt it into ingots. And as you saw, to make this invar, you had to combine dust from different ingots. But if you use the induction smelter, you can use the ingots directly. And there are a few other recipes like that. So the induction furnace is kind of like the alloy furnace from Red Power, but for thermal expansion. So you can combine different metals to make new alloys. So let's get back to that redstone energy cell. And first I need to actually spell redstone correctly. So there we go, redstone energy cell. So the next thing I need is these electrum ingots. And that's one of those blends. You use gold and silver to make it. And as you can see, you can use the powder version, but that would mean I have to actually grind up my ingots into powder again. And I don't want to do that. That seems like a hassle. So if we continue on the recipes here, we find the induction smelter has a recipe for it, where you can actually combine the ingots directly and get the electrum ingots. So that's what we're gonna do here. So let's get some silver and some gold. And well, I have kind of a nice supply of metals now. So that's good. And we're gonna make a bunch of these. They're gonna be needed sooner or later, so why not? And of course you need to turn on the power. And that is one of the things that I mean to automate with this redstone energy cell, that I don't need to flip on the engine manually. And of course you could do that with gates, if you have like a gate underneath every machine that says, well, checks if the machine has any work to do, and then sends a signal to a gate on the engine that activates the engine. But that's a lot of gates, because you have a lot of machines. If you use this energy cell, I'll show you later, there's a much easier way to automate it that just requires 2 gates. One on the actual cell and one on the engine. And yeah, liquid transposer, and that's something else we need here apparently, because the cell that I've showed you the recipe for, you actually build an empty cell and then you have to fill it with molten redstone. And also you need this hardened glass. And that's a combination of obsidian and lead. So I need to grind up some obsidian. I'm kind of low on obsidian actually. It's, well, as you know, it's a hassle to get, because it takes so darn long to hack it up with your pick. And that's another great reason to get the quarry going, because if you have a quarry and some water in it and it hits lava, it's gonna suck up obsidian like crazy. And I so happen to have a volcano nearby that contains lava, so that will be nice once I get the quarry going, but it's a slow process apparently. I have been talking about that quarry since day one almost. But there's always something to distract me. So, next up, liquid transposer. Shouldn't be much of a problem. It's just machine frame and coil and stuff. You see, the thermal expansion recipes are kind of similar, most of them. They have the machine frame and then a similar setup of items. Just a few things that are different. So liquid transposer is used to insert or extract liquids from items. So in this case we want to insert molten redstone into the energy cell. And it can work with capsules and buckets and stuff like that as well. And you can toggle it between filling or draining items. So it has an internal buffer of liquids, and you can place an empty bucket or whatever empty item and fill it from the internal buffer, or flip that mode switch there and have it drain the item into the internal buffer. And I think I made a little mistake here, and I initially thought you could melt down redstone in the induction furnace. But it turns out you need yet another machine for that, and that is the magma crucible, I believe it's called. So I was setting up the output to put it out into the liquid transposer, and then I realized redstone will not go in there. No. Well, it will go in, but nothing will happen with it. So let's instead build that magma crucible. So what do we need for that? Well, as you see, same basic recipe, you just switch out the side things there. In this case we got nether bricks. So, and the machine frame of course on the coil, so it's basically the same recipe. And there we go, one magma crucible. So let's go place this one, and machine room is turning out to be an actual machine room now with quite a few machines, so that's nice. And what else? Well, I should just have to throw some redstone in there. I don't know what I'm looking about here, but so yeah, input will be accepted from this side, and this will output to the right, which will be where the liquid transposer is. Excellent. And here we go. Redstone is being melted down, and it will be immediately put out into the liquid transposer. And while that is working, I should get back to working on the actual redstone energy cell frame. And there it is. So yeah, diamond, hardened glass, and some stuff. And as you remember, I did throw some obsidian into the pulverizer, so I do have obsidian ready, and then we got some lead, and we should have some hardened glass coming our way. And that's made in the induction furnace. And again, I'm just turning off the output input slots because I want to run it manually. And there we have some hardened glass. And hardened glass is actually a nice material to build with as well. I don't think I showed you that here, but I'll have to show you some other day. It's kind of nice because when you place them adjacent to each other, the boundary between the two blocks kind of melts together, and it looks like one big pane of glass instead of just individual blocks. So anyway, diamond and some more of that electrum, or was it? Yeah, I think it was electrum. And I have quite a few emeralds, not so much diamonds, but emeralds, not a problem. Thanks to my dear neighbors and the chicken farm mostly, because yeah, it produces a lot of chickens, and I can sell that to those lovely fellas next doors. And here we go. So if I just place this in here, it should start draining some redstone into it. Well, you need to smelt up enough redstone to begin with, and that might take a while. So I'll go sleep and I'll be back and this thing should be ready to run. And here we go. Almost done actually. And there's my redstone energy cell thingy. Ready to be used. Yeah, well actually you need to do some more work on it, obviously. So it's a complicated recipe, it takes a lot of work and many steps before you're done, but well worth it when you actually get there. So we need yet more lead, and I got the electrum in there already. And wasn't it another coil thing? Maybe not. Yes, it was. Okay. And you get the filled frame thingy, and now I think it's ready. Yeah, now it's an energy cell. Not just a frame filled with redstone. So let's see where I want to place this guy. I want to have it easily accessible because I am going to move it around and like bring it out into the world where I need energy when I need it. But it should also be in a good spot to provide energy for this room. And yeah, so I'm debating on if I want to keep using these. Well, this is temporary placement. As you can see, it's accepting energy in, so that's awesome. And yeah, I'm debating on whether I want to keep these Buildcraft energy pipes or if I want to go with the thermal expansion variant. Because thermal expansion has its own energy transport system. And it's energy redstone conduits or something like that. So you make it similar to the cell up there. You make conduits out of hardened glass and something, and you fill them with the molten redstone. And they are a bit more efficient than the Buildcraft pipes. They lose less energy over distance. And they're also more intelligent, I want to say. As I am going to show you later on, the Buildcraft pipes has their limitations. So yeah, I'm going to show you here real quick the energy conduits. And as you see, you fill them with redstone, and they're crafted with this hardened glass and electrum ingots. So they're a bit more, well actually quite a bit more expensive than the Buildcraft pipes, but also they are more useful. They do have their drawbacks. They do not function with the covers. Oh no, what's the name? The Buildcraft facades that I have on the pipes around here. They do not work with those, nor do they accept red power 2 covers to be placed on the same block. So they're a bit trickier to work with. And excuse me. And I'm back. So anyway, I was talking about the conduits, yes. And you see my cell is filling up nicely. And I just want to rearrange things a bit because this is just a temporary placement. So there we have it. This is a much better spot for it. And to finish up this episode, I'm gonna automate the engine switch here. So some pipe wire, because the energy cell has of course some Buildcraft gate interactions, so you can put up conditions here to check for if there's no energy, or if there is energy, or the one I'm going to use, if it can store energy. That basically means if there's room for any more energy in the cell. It's going to activate this wire, and on the other end I can just check the wire and emit a redstone signal. And the little redstone on the wall there is just because the red power 2 engine there doesn't accept the redstone current from the front of the engine or from the energy output side of the engine. And with that, I'm gonna finish up this episode. So thank you for watching, and I hope you come back to see me again. So until next time, bye bye.